narrow boats. And that's because the canals are only 14 feet wide, I think. Oh, narrow boats are 7.5 feet wide, so canals must be like 20 feet wide. So they're quite narrow, and people live aboard them. They didn't used to. They used to be freight boats. So because they were freight boats, because they were the trucks of a bygone era, the canals go everywhere that you need to take freight. So you can also now go everywhere that you need to look at the countryside, except for the bit on the Llangollen Canal, which is not going to be fixed for the next 9 months, because the side collapsed out of it, which emptied the pound and washed 2 boats completely out of the canal, and they were buried in mud. One of them's been completely written off. The reason I'm telling you this is because the next song is about a narrowboat, and when they're not washing out of gaps in the canal, they're really fun to be on. They're really fun. You must try it. If you go to England and you get the chance to stay on a narrowboat, even for a night, it's a taste of an England that you cannot find elsewhere. And you can take that narrowboat into town, because there's places to stop in places like Bath, or to the pub, because there's lots of pubs that are right beside the canal. Except people who live on the boats don't call it the canal, they call it the cut, because it was cut out of the ground by navvies who dug the canal system. So you need to know that, because in this song the word cut gets used a bit, and there's a chorus, which of course I'd love you to sing. This song's called Violet Sarah, because that was the name of the boat. And when she was sold by our 2 friends who lived on her, the man who bought her wanted to turn her into a floating nightclub, and he wanted to call her Ultraviolet Sarah.
Violet Sarah, travelling waters. The smile of Violet Sarah, beauty of the cut, jewel of the travelling waters.